So Helen Keller was born in June of 1880. She actually was born with her sight and hearing, but it wasn't until she was 19 months old that she lost both of them. She lost it because of an illness that doctors today believe would have probably been because of meningitis or scarlet fever or something of that sort. But by the time she was 6, her parents hired this teacher by the name of Anne Sullivan to come in and kind of teach her how to adapt and manage the disability she has now. Keller had already had like a certain amount of like hand gestures of just to get by the day of like, I want this, or etc., etc. But Sullivan came in and was really like, no, I want you to learn as much as someone who wasn't in your shoes. And she, got to work, and she, at the beginning, really focused on finger lettering, which is exactly how it sounds. She would spell out words and letters with her finger on the palm of her hand and try to figure out what it was spelling. And that's where the famous water example comes in. So Sullivan took her out to the garden and poured water over her hand, and as it was pouring, she would spell out water. It got quicker, and she would, it clicked for Keller. I mean, like, I feel the water, I feel what it's spelling, I know what those two are now, I'm good to go. And she ended up learning most of her vocabulary that way. But Sullivan, wanted to keep going. She ended up teaching her Braille, so Keller knew how to read and interpret Braille. But even if that wasn't good enough, she taught her how to speak, which is just, I can't fathom learning how to speak without the sight and vision of it. She would have Keller put her hand on her face and then her thumb usually on her voice box, and she would feel the movement of her lips as she would talk, and she would feel the vibrations coming from her throat. And I mean, like, I'm talking, I know what I'm saying, and it all feels the same to me. I don't know how she did that. I mean, it took her 25 years, which 25 years of her life just learning how to speak. I don't know how you could go about doing that, but if that wasn't good enough, she was like, I want to go to college. Like, she became the first person of her disability to get a bachelor's degree in college. She was a political and social activist in her later years of her life. She co-founded the Helen Keller Foundation, which helps fight the causes and consequences of blindness and malnutrition of people all around the world that are vulnerable for it. Today it's 120 programs in 20 different countries, which is just crazy to me. How she did all this stuff while being blind and deaf. She lived a meaningful life. 87 years of this. I don't know how she just didn't curl up into a potato and just sit around all day. She just really became the image of fighting disability, and really just serves still today as just an inspiration to everyone around the world of someone in her shoes and what can be accomplished. And I just think that's just a remarkable thing that she did, and her legacy still lives on today.